Hello everyone, and now welcome to a game, Sock versus 120. This game taking place here on Hammerfall. Alright, on the top left-hand side of the map, we have Sock spawning as the blue human. Meanwhile, on the bottom right, we have 120 spawning as the yellow undead. Human versus undead in this 1v1 matchup. Things seem pretty straightforward already. Altar of Darkness, Crypt, Ziggurat with Altar of Kings, Farm, and Barracks. I have been trying to adjust the zoom in, zoom out just enough. I think I'm at a good zoom. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Close enough to the action while also being far enough away where you can see everything. Well, far enough away to see all the action while close enough to see the detail. Anyways, let's go ahead and break things down here. We're looking for the altars to be done, defining the heroes that we will see, and that early game decision does lapse over into the rest of this game here, as it is going to be an Archmage going up against Death Knight is my guess here. No, going to be a Crypt Lord first. So Crypt Lord coming across from 120 means he's going to be going wide, trying to get beetles, skeletal minions, and may even try and do a fast expansion either off over here or off to the north here. Most likely on the southern side, as it is the easier creep camp. Taking on a Cold Bold and taking down all of these guys one at a time does give you more corpses, or the undead more corpses, to keep that party going. Meanwhile, off on the north here, we're still looking at peasants being trained. We'll keep track of Sock's overall peasant number. Usually around 13 to 14 starts to indicate that he's trying to go for an expo of some sort, or perhaps he's willing to lose some militia in trying to clear out those creep camps. Acolyte getting pressured away here. Even though that Acolyte just wants to do a bit of scouting, he realizes that the Acolyte is incredibly important in order to try and set up that expo. Meanwhile, the Crypt Lord has already, sold that Scroll of Town Portal, picked up a Rod of Necromancy, bringing some beetles to the party. Here we are, there's that right there, and we could be going into that engagement with that Artificial or that Blight already down. Acolyte is going to be able to regenerate quite a good amount of hit points while on a Blight here. You can take a look at that Acolyte trying to just stay away here. Skeletal Minion perhaps going to be able to stick around. No, doesn't stick around here, as the Ghoul is going to cause some problems. Oh, unlucky Ensnare. And now 120 is going to lose that Acolyte, not be able to haunt that gold mine, and perhaps be forced to train up another one. Altar of Darkness is still in play. Meanwhile, we're looking at Sock, who did also clear out an expo. That expo, I believe, was the more difficult to clear out expo with the Rock Golem. The Archmage is sitting at level 2 already and picked up Ring of Protection +5. Alright, early pressure coming across here. Water Elemental trying to get in a little bit of piercing damage. It looks as though that Ziggurat, however, will complete. And with this Blight is going to be offering quite a bit of protection. Here's that new Crystal Ball that we were mentioning. Crystal Ball now lower on the drop table, no longer a permanent item, and has 3 charges only. Let's take a look at the Crypt Lord trying to retreat back. Now Archmage continuing this charge, more damage onto those skeletal minions as they do fall back. Meanwhile, some beetles trying to infest here, not going to be able to take down that Arcane Tower, as the Arcane Tower seems to be okay for now. All of the militia are just standing guard, trying to prepare, and there you are, there you have it, the militia now getting called over. Peasants are now back in their normal forms, and they're going to try and get some repairs going. That 5 armor plus all of those peasants repairing should be able to keep it alive, but at what cost? As the peasants are, trying to work hard and keep this Arcane Tower alive, so that, this protection will stay there. Alright, Sock able to hold on to that. Barely. Arcane Tower is done. Meanwhile, Haunting of the Gold Mine started on the southern side. Alright, crazy bit of action during the early stages of this game. Both sides trying to set up expos, both sides pressuring with their standing armies. And now, as they know that, if I can't take down your expo, I might as well just try to gain that experience lead. At least that is what Sock's plan is. Meanwhile, 120 still sitting at tier 2, trying to train up more Acolytes, needs to find a way to heal. There is a Nerubian tower here, but 120 is going to be significantly behind on that expo in just a second. as the town hall is being sped built here at that 9 o'clock position. Army's going to try and engage. Archmage does have claws of attack +5, even though it says +4 right there. And here we are trying to go after some of these acolytes and units. All right. If that wasn't confusing enough. Archmage, claws of attack +5. Footman trying to engage against that Cryptlord. Cryptlord does have Impale. Plenty of ghouls nearby and around as the haunted gold mine is nearly done. Gold already being, well, plundered from this gold mine off on the western side as we are looking at a potential surround onto the Cryptlord. Water Elemental could get taken down as well as the ghouls are, well, able to take it down pretty quickly. Let's go. No deny there. Cryptlord, however, still sitting at level 2 as it looks as though one ghoul will get taken out once more. Archmage with that claws of attack +5 and that water elemental doing a bit of ranged damage, able to slowly whittle away at the hit points of those ghouls. 120 has to be very careful. He cannot afford to lose any more ghouls needlessly like that, as the ghouls, even though they are on Blight, do not regenerate that many hit points. Ghoul down to 46 hit points. It's going to try and retreat back away. This water elemental has its eyes set on that ghoul. Is it going to be enough? That ghoul is, well, running back into the hills here, and I believe the water elemental now being slowed by the Nerubian Tower. Not going to be, not going to be enough there. Coming back through, Nerubian Tower is up. Acolyte still wandering around. You can see the Archmage while hiding off to the side. This is because of that fog of war. The fog of war, the Archmage was actually hiding in the shadows of the tree, and now the Archmage has to be careful. An Impale from the Cryptlord could have finished him off. Meanwhile, the Acolytes are still dancing around here, and Sock is just doing a great job using every bit of that Archmage's hit points, but the Archmage is down to 87 hit points and does have to be very careful. Meanwhile, the Cryptlord doesn't want to try and land an Impale. A little bit odd or surprised by that, as Acolytes are still getting taken down here. Are we going to see that Impale? One Acolyte ends up falling as the units are still trying to retreat back. New Necropolis being summoned into position to try and ensure that Acolyte can still be trained while teching the tier 2 is completed. Teching the tier 2, Sock are a little bit behind 120 at this stage as the Cryptlord gets to level 3. Standing army of Sock significantly larger, 43 supply compared to 27. However, we should be looking at the training of a Death Knight here right as it completes, and, well, perhaps trying to get some additional units out on the battlefield. On the bottom left, we can see that the Necropolis is nearly done. 120, it lost a good number of Acolytes. Needs to summon up, train up a couple of more here as the Forest Troll Warlord going to get taken down. We're trying to go for an Impale. There goes one Footman there. Archmage still staying alive. Does have a potion of greater healing now as the Footmen are once more retreating back. Level 4 on that Archmage. Plenty of regeneration to go around. The Cryptlord wants to try and finish off some of these Footmen or some of these other units here, but Sock really invested heavily in this Footman army early and has been able to stay dominant with it. Meanwhile, the 120 has been forced to constantly retrain up ghouls and acolytes, and even though you normally don't want to invest too much in tier 1 units, it seems like Sock's strategy is giving him a strong advantage pushing into the middle portion of this game. Death Knight on the battlefield already. Mountain King, well, following it up now. Goblin Shredder, well, trying to lay waste to these trees as we're looking at Arcane Sanctums being placed down by Sock. Only one Arcane Sanctum. Blacksmith now a common occurrence at the expo, using buildings to try and wall off your location and offer a bit of protection. Cryptlord looking to take down this Sasquatch Creek camp at the Goblin Merchant camp. What will do so? Death Knight picks up Talisman of Evasion, still a decent ways away from level 2. Meanwhile, Archmage continuing to go after creep camps here. Forest Troll Warlord creep camp. Is it going to get taken down? You can take a look. Archmage wants that last hit. Who's going to get that last bit of experience here? That is the question. There goes a Strong Impale. There's a Death Coil able to pick it up. Archmage gets the Wand of Mana Stealing, though, as we see some skeletal minions popping up out of the ground. Mountain King shows up to the party. Archmage is going to be forced to use a Potion of Greater Healing. Does have a Goblin Zeppelin in the area nearby as the, well, Archmage now trying to retreat back away. Is the Zeppelin going to perhaps try to elevator some of these units? Yes, it does. Elevators the Death Knight and that Crypt Lord away from that fight here, as this one Goblin Zeppelin has to be very careful to not fall over this river here. Goblin Zeppelin dangerously low on hit points, trying to back away, but Archmage and Mountain King still clearing out this creep camp, even though 120 is so close to the action. All right, Crypt Lord could be in trouble. There's a Death Coil to try and save. Death Knight does not have any more mana. Goblin Zeppelin could try and Elevator, not going to be able to do it easily. Death Knight, Wanda mana stealing Archmage, or the Mountain King using the Wanda mana stealing on the Death Knight. Death Knight going to fall here. Goblin Zeppelin rehired up, as that Zeppelin will be retreating back. All right, Skeletal Minions getting cleaned up here. Beetle's going to get cleaned up. And Sock now taking an amazing advantage, sitting on nearly, well, he was sitting nearly on 2,000 gold and still had a decent sized army advantage. Mountain King, however, offered up as a sacrifice there. Crypt Lord now fighting alongside this Obsidian statue, looking to get every bit of experience that it can. Level 1 Mountain King fell. Level 1 Death Knight fell. Those heroes do resurrect very fast, though, as we're looking at Crypt Fiends and Ghouls getting trained up by 120. We finally see 120 with full saturation at his expo. We're also seeing Griffin Aviaries getting constructed, as we are at tier 3, so we could see Griffins or perhaps just some Dragonhawk Riders. We're also looking at a second barracks and and 2 workshops, so Sock doing a lot of city planning here, building a lot of buildings, and really going to be trying to push into that 70 range on upkeep in a sudden burst. That's one of the reasons why you have why you build so many of these additional production buildings with a Paladin as third. You want to stay in low upkeep, and then finally, when the time comes, start training up Knights. You can see dual training of Knights, even perhaps a training of a, nope, no Griffin here, to try to get into that, get into 60 to 70 supply quickly. All right, Death Knight sitting at level 2. Lich on the battlefield did pick up an Orb of Corruption. Paladin will be coming across momentarily for the human, and we will be looking at 3 heroes on both sides. All right, bottom left-hand side, Mountain King getting close to level 2. Archmage sitting very close to level 5. Paladin now inbound as well, as the last major creep camps on the map will get taken out. All right, Death Knight looking to get to level 3, picks up an Ankh of Reincarnation. Lich still hasn't used any mana yet. It's going to be staying at level 1. I believe Death Knight could get to level 2, or it should be level 3, excuse me, does get there pretty much right on the money, as we see a quick, was that a Dust of Appearance or reveal? Just trying to make sure, or no, that was a reveal, I believe, by, who picked it up? Don't quite know. All right. Archmage may have picked it up, used it once, and then sold the item just to see where his opponent was. Archmage sitting on the cusp of level 5. Same thing with the Crypt Lord. The big difference is going to be the Death Knight is currently at level 3, and that could be enough to shift things in favor, as the Death Knight at level 3 does represent some bigger heals. There is an Orb of Fire, however, on the Archmage to try and stop that healing. Orb of Fire, reducing the amount of healing by 35%. So was that a 400 hit point heal, dropping down to about, what, 280? Is about the right number there. All right, is this, I don't know, does this feel too close? I don't know. What do you guys, let me know.
A player's forces are under attack.
All right. Some easy creep clearing. Lich now sitting at level 2. Crypt Lord is sitting now at level 5. Lich is trying to get every bit of experience it can. It does pick up Frost Armor. Also has a Ring of Protection +4. And we seem to be off to the races soon. Ring of Protection +4. Remember, every piece of armor increases your effective hit points by 6%. If you guys doubt me, watch my WarCraft 3 armor video. Yeah, pretty much explains, even though the percentage in damage reduction goes down, the overall effective hit points stays pretty linear, even to account for the logarithmic. Well, yeah. Anyways, coming back off to the north here. A little bit strange that both sides are actually getting the opportunity to clear out every single creep camp on the map. Paladin now sitting very close to level 3. That's going to be too close. Very close to level 3. And now, once more, it feels like Human has the hero level advantage. It's going to come down to who's going to be able to execute and deal damage with their army effectively. Crypt Lord does have level 3 Impale. Meanwhile, the Archmage has changed over to level 3 Blizzard. So we're looking at level 3 Blizzard and level 2 Thunderclap. No invisibility on the Mountain King, as I don't believe we see any sorceresses at all. Handful of priests that do have the mastery training, but that's just more likely to try and increase their hit point pool and their mana pool, as we're looking at scout towers being upgraded into arcane and cannon towers, interestingly enough. All right, those cannon towers do have fortified armor, remember. There's that thunderclap. There's some big damage indeed. There's an impale, a massive slow across multiple units, as the units are trying to retreat back. A quick staff of sanctuary Ari to start the game off, start the fight off. All right, Crypt Fiends quickly trying to web down some of those flying machines. Both sides fighting their way through. In comes another thunderclap. In comes another impale. Both sides just racking up damage against each other. Destroyers, with some of them with mana, trying to turn back around and fight against those flying machines. Flying machines with decent, with those flak cannons able to counter attack as well. I take it, do the destroyers, destroyers do have some mana, and now they're going to try to go after those arcane towers. One arcane tower now down. Abomination trying to retreat back as well. The Abomination, although it is a tanky hero or tanky frontline unit, cannot be taking needless damage from Blizzard. We must see Mass Firelord now. We'll see in the next Night Elf matchup, or maybe even Night Elf versus Night Elf if we're still going to see that. All right. Destroyers running straight on in, going straight after the arcane tower. Gonna go next after that, the guard tower, and with all of those towers down, that is a big fight. Meanwhile, Scroll of Town Portal inbound. Are we gonna see a Scroll of Town Portal outbound? Crypt Lord could try and Scroll of Town Portal outbound. Death Knight, actually the one who outbounds first, able to retreat back here. All right, a couple of the destroyers need to retreat all the way back home. Flying machines trying to catch up a little bit. It looks like the destroyer is actually just stopped for a second. And yeah, with that many flying machines, those flying machines, no F-22 Raptors, but able to take down those destroyers easily. You definitely can see them and hear them coming. All right. Dual expos still for SOC. One of the guard towers was now down. Economic advantage definitely in favor of SOC. Meanwhile, 120 has a slightly larger army because he has less workers. But is that going to translate to victory on the battlefield? Right? 120 now going into high upkeep to ensure the next victory, as we're starting to run out of gold at the main gold mine and also that first expo. Flying machines trying to make their way over. There's some Blizzard. That's a lot of AoE damage as they're trying to engage a fight here. There goes an Impale. Archmage may try to get another round of Blizzard off. There's a Scroll of Healing to try and counteract. Both sides dealing large amounts of damage to each other. There goes another Impale. The Impale is going to be a little bit late, as the Archmage is just going to continue to rain down Blizzard. And Blizzard is absolutely destroying everything here. Just every round of Blizzard destroying all of those undead units. This is one of those situations where level 3 Blizzard, the increase in damage was a big deal, but the increase in duration from 6 waves to 10 perhaps was the bigger deal here. The way Blizzard works is that cooldown, I believe, is 6 seconds, but and you can actually recast that Blizzard immediately. The Impale let off to try and cancel that Blizzard, and at that point, the Archmage said, you know what, I can just cast a Blizzard again while your Impale is still on cooldown, maximizing that damage. All right, big win for SOC over 120 here. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Let me know what you guys thought about the game in the comments below.